Hi, I'm Susan Robertson, and I'm going to share with you a little about the neuroscience of powerful presentations. A team of neuroscientists was recently engaged by the U.S. military to optimize the military's training based on neuroscience principles. What they learned is that engagement is the combination of both attention plus emotion, and you have to have both to have true engagement. They also learned that engagement is the single most important factor in driving impact of any program. But what the neuroscientists also know is that our human brains can only sustain this heightened level of engagement for very short periods of time, just 3 or 4 minutes at a time, and then our brains need a break. So in a perfect program, the brainwaves of the audience would look like a series of high peaks followed by some breaks. The height of the peaks is important, so you want them to be up near 100% engagement, and you don't want the lows to be too low, like not near zero. Another known neuroscience principle called the peak-end rule is also important in driving impact. And the peak-end rule says that our memory of any experience is primarily shaped by two things. One, how high was the highest emotional peak? And two, was there a high emotional peak at the end? And just to give you an example of this in the real world, most women recall the experience of labor and childbirth as much less painful than it actually is. And that's because of this peak-end rule. So there are many high emotional peaks during the process when the woman's not in pain at the moment and she's anticipating the baby. And obviously there's a huge high emotional peak at the end when the baby arrives. So the women's overall memory of the entire experience is actually relatively positive, even though there were many parts of the process that were incredibly challenging and negative. So the neuroscientists discovered that driving a peak of emotional engagement at the end of any program is another important factor in driving impact. So a perfect program would be a series of steep peaks of engagement followed by some rests. You want those peaks of engagement to be spread throughout the program, and you want another high peak of engagement at the end. And this structure for any program is what's likely to create audience engagement, aid the memory of what was learned, and motivate the desired behavior change. I had the incredible good fortune to work with the same team of neuroscientists that did the military research, and they biometrically measured audience engagement during my keynote. They did it by having people wear a device that looked a bit like a wristwatch, and it was measuring things like changes in heart rate and temperature and breathing, all of which are markers that they've proven to correlate to engagement. And I was thrilled to find out I had a near perfect result. I had lots and lots of high peaks of engagement, many of them at a full 100%, and I had another 100% peak of engagement at the very end. So I perfectly matched the structure of an ideal program. So I'm happy to say I'm scientifically proven more engaging. So if you need an engaging speaker for your own event, or you know someone who does, please get in touch. Thanks so much for watching.